Sabrina and Garrett here, and as we promised in our Instagram story, we're here to give you a more in-depth recap review of Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom, which we just saw because it opened up in Taiwan and a few other places today.
Yeah, and we saw it at 9:30 in the morning because that was the earliest possible showing we could make it to. It was the first one that was available.
And it was at a mall, but the mall wasn't open yet.
Yeah, so we had to take some escalators, and it was very strange. But it was actually relatively full. I was surprised how many people got up at 9:30 in the morning on, what is it here, Wednesday to see it. Although there were still a lot of empty seats. It was like the best seats because it's all reserved seating in Taiwan that were all filled. And it was really good.
IMAX theater, so it was huge.
Yeah. Yeah, we were in row L, which was the last row and the best row, strangely.
Yeah, and pretty much in the middle, so very good seats.
But the movie was really good. We really enjoyed it. It featured a lot of cameos by everything you'd like to see, and it was really well done. Mm-hmm. It had a very different feel from Jurassic World, the first one.
It did.
But it wasn't as much of a horror as a lot of people expected, being directed by J.A. Bayona.
Yeah, it seemed to have a good mix of everything.
Yeah, definitely. And a lot of fan service.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
So definitely recommend seeing it. It was really good. And now we're going to go into some more spoilery bits. So
very spoilery bits.
Yeah. If you don't want to hear about it before you see the movie and you haven't seen it yet, then come back later for this. So my favorite part was probably when they were in the cage with the T-Rex that we saw a little bit of during one of the trailers. And the reason they were in there was they were actually trying to get blood out of the T-Rex.
Well, let's back up and give a little more about the story, the context. So the whole thing is that the island that the dinosaurs are on it's about to blow up.
It's a volcanic island. Yeah.
And which I don't totally understand. When they were developing this business plan for Jurassic World, they didn't think, because it's not that far into the future. It's only a few years after Jurassic World.
Yeah, so they probably knew it was an active volcano, which seems like a bad choice.
Yeah.
Good point.
But anyway, this island is about to go up in flames. All of the dinosaurs are running amok there, and Claire now is part of, as we know, the Dinosaur Protection Group, and she really wants to save them, but she can't figure out how yet.
Mm-hmm. So people are like testifying in front of Congress. She's calling Congress members and all that kind of stuff. Mm-hmm. And eventually, though, a group does get arranged. It's a lot like Jurassic Park, the second Lost World, because it's the group of military people basically going there to take dinosaurs off the island. And at first they figure, oh, okay, we're just here to save the dinosaurs. And they get a story about how we're taking them to a sanctuary island. Yeah. They're going to roam free.
Well, it's a former friend of John Hammond. He's this very wealthy man. He's got a terminal illness, and now he kind of wants to make things right. Mm-hmm. It sounded like he helped Hammond with the first dinosaur or the cloning or something.
In like the basement of this old mansion, which we hadn't seen before, which is kind of interesting. And yeah, so they go there, but then of course, just like Jurassic Park, the Lost World, they get there and they find out, oh no, they're actually going to like sell these off. It's
they don't find out
attraction.
Right away. They get double crossed. So Claire goes along with it. She recruits Owen. They had broken up at some point between the last movie and this one, so she goes to get him back. Mm-hmm. It's a pretty funny scene. The humor is still there. She's laughing at him because he's insisting he's the one who broke up with her.
Yeah, because he wanted to drive across the country in a van, and she was like, well, if you want to take a van, then just go. And then he left. Yes. And then he's like, so I left you because I left in the van. Yep. The way they get double-crossed was pretty entertaining because Owen gets shot by a tranquilizer dart. And when he wakes up, the lava is creeping up next to him. So he's trying to like crawl away from it.
Yeah. Well,
with, so like half limp.
They need Claire because they need her access, her handprint to, unlock the tracking systems of Jurassic World. And so she and Owen, and then two other characters who work with her on the Dinosaur Protection Group. One is a systems analyst, and one is a, what did she call it?
Paleo veterinarian, I think.
Yeah.
I really liked both of those characters too, especially the tech guy. He was a lot of fun because he is an indoor kind of guy, and now he's thrust into this jungle wilderness, trying to put on as much bug spray as possible and stay away from everything. But of course, everything's trying to get him.
People ask him if he's all right. He says no.
Yeah.
So what happens is they want Owen because he's trained her, and we get a little bit of backstory. There's some clips throughout the movie of Owen and Baby Blue, which is very cute, and how she becomes kind of other raptors her age. If he showed any weakness, they would attack.
Yeah.
But Blue wanted to make him feel better and was obedient to him and followed him and everything.
Yeah, and they show these clips in a few different places when the young girl, the granddaughter of Lockwood, is kind of roaming around in the basement.
Lockwood is the older gentleman who was Hammond's friend.
Yeah. And then we also find out later that Maisie is actually a clone of his daughter, which is pretty interesting. And we had to look it up because we were thinking, who is this person that they're a clone of? We figure it's somebody from an earlier movie, but it doesn't seem like it. We think she's her own thing, and the person who died we never know of. But they mentioned that her mom had been to Jurassic Park, so the original one. So we figured maybe it was a character, minimal or not, but I don't think so.
Maybe we'll learn more later.
Yeah, it could be. They might fill that out in the next story. Could be.
Blue is definitely the star of this movie.
Oh, yeah. I was saying that they should have made the logo like how on Jurassic Park 3 they have the Spinosaurus head rather than T-Rex. They should have made it a Velociraptor head for this one because it's really all about Blue.
Yeah. So Owen is able to find Blue. He gets her a little bit more calm because they haven't seen each other in years.
Yeah.
But then that's when he's double-crossed and this military group
shoots him.
They shoot him. They shoot Blue, even though they need to take her back alive.
Shoot Blue with a bullet.
Yeah.
So then the paleo vet has to take care of her for a while.
Yeah. And then they've also locked Claire and the system analyst in the room that they were in. And meanwhile, the island is starting to erupt.
Yeah.
And things happen. And then one of the first carnivorous dinosaurs we see is the baryonyx. It's that scene we saw in the trailer. It comes in while the island is starting to blow up and
through a tunnel.
And
it's
through
really
Claire
cool effect because they have lava dripping in the tunnel, and it does the sort of horror movie effect like a blinking light.
Yeah.
Where it's lighting up the baryonyx a little bit here and there. And a lot of times they're not looking. So there were some good horror elements like that where you can see a little bit more than the characters are noticing. And you're like, look behind you.
Yep.
Or where you don't know where they are. Like at certain points, a dinosaur is creeping around looking for them. And you get it kind of from the dinosaur's perspective.
Yeah.
And you're wondering, where are they? Are we going to see them get attacked now?
Yeah. Yeah, it's really well done because you've got the action scenes, you've got these horror suspense scenes, and then you've got a little bit of campiness to it, too.
Yeah, I think it was a better balance than the previous movie, so I was pretty happy about that.
Basically, the trailer that we saw shows a bunch of the action scenes on how they get off the island. There's that part where they're in the gyroscope?
Gyrosphere? Yeah.
Gyrosphere. And they roll off the cliff, and then Owen has to save them because they're stuck under the water.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty dramatic.
I hate watching people underwater movies. I always feel like I have to hold my breath. And that part was driving me nuts because they're like slowly sinking and water's filling up. Yeah, that's brutal.
Yep. And then they have to sneak onto the boat where they're taking all the dinosaurs.
Sneak on by driving a truck off a ramp.
Well, yeah.
To it,
but
and nobody notices.
Because the island is exploding. They're too busy trying to get away.
Yeah, I guess so. But they left the back of the boat. It was weird. But then that was the saddest moment in the movie, too.
That was this beautifully sad scene. Well, so I'm wondering, that whole part about the island exploding and all the ash falling and stuff, and I was kind of wondering, like, was it like that when the Chicxulub impact happened? Yeah. You know, and that would have been terrible. And so this last scene you see of the island, it's all of the people are on the boat and they're looking back, and they couldn't save all of the dinosaurs because it all happened too quickly. And there's this one giant Brachiosaurus. Actually, it might have been the one that they first saw Brachiosaurus on the island when they first got back to the island, walking around. That was the first dinosaur that the paleo veterinarian saw.
Yeah, kind of a callback to the first Jurassic Park, too, because she sees it and is amazed by it and seeing it in real life for the first time.
But then this scene, it's the Brachiosaurus is coming onto the ramp and just looking at him and calling out almost as if like, why did you leave me?
Yeah, super sad.
And then everything is the ash and the fire and the smoke, and eventually it gets engulfed in the smoke, and all you see is like flashes of light through the smoke.
Sort of a silhouette of it dying.
It was so sad.
It was very sad. And I had thought at that point that meant that the sauropods had gone extinct, because I didn't notice any sauropods making it on the boat. But later on, they do show a sauropod in a cage.
Yeah, it looked like an apatosaurus, so...
Yeah. So then the rest of the movie is basically an auction of all these dinosaurs.
Well, that's
and
the
an auction gone wrong.
The haunted house part of it. J.A. Bayona said that the second half was more like that with the suspense, which makes sense because, there's dinosaurs running amok.
Yeah, and they used the Indoraptor to really good effect, too.
Yeah.
And they did a good job selling it, too, because... B.D. Wong comes back as the mad scientist, sort of, except he is talking about how we need to train this dinosaur, and he's made an Indoraptor, but this can't be the final version because it wasn't raised with blue, so it won't be able to follow commands, and it's going to be too crazy.
Right.
But they end up auctioning it off anyway because people start bidding on
want all the money.
Prototype.
Because the prototype can attack the person that they want.
Laser-guided attack system. So, they end up going after it, and of course it breaks free. The most ridiculous part, possibly, was they show this poor girl,
Maisie
/ clone, has just found out that her grandfather died because he gets killed by the double-crossing guardian.
Yeah.
And then she finds out that she's a clone. And then she runs into Owen and Claire. And they're like trying to coax her out of this dumbwaiter. And it's the creepiest scene. They're like in an alley. They're like, come with us, little girl. Don't you want a friend? We could use a friend. And they're literally creeping up.
They're trying to be nice.
They are, but it comes across so creepy.
And she recognizes Owen because she watched some of the old footage of him with Blue.
But it was so creepy.
And she just figured out her grandfather died and that he was probably killed by her new guardian. So she wants to get away.
She does. Oh, she doesn't know she's a clone yet. She finds that out slightly later. Yeah. But still, she's had a bad couple minutes. And she's crying uncontrollably. And they're creeping up like, here, little girl, come with us. It was weird. It's a weird editing choice. But I really enjoyed it because it was funny. I don't know if it was supposed to be funny, but it was very funny.
No, it was either. They also saw pictures very early on of a room that looked like a museum. And it turns out that it's this guy's house.
Yeah, Lockwood's sort of living room, basically.
Yeah. And it's got dioramas.
Yeah.
And skeletons.
Yeah, and Maisie loves that room, too. She's always running around pretending that she got eaten by one of the dinosaurs and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So that was a nice touch. And, of course, at the end of the movie, they end up letting all the dinosaurs free. Although this is a weird part because the room is filling with poisonous gas. So they're like, okay, we either have to release them from the room because the HVAC system is broken, or we let them all die. And the first thing they do is let them all out of the cages. So then they're waiting by this huge concrete barrier, which is what you need to open to let the air out. And then the little girl presses the button, lets them all out. But what they could have just pressed that button and left them all in the cages. I'm like, why? It's immediately obvious. It's like, that's the door that lets the gas out. Press that button.
There was so much happening. They weren't thinking about it.
Then decide about the cages. Yeah, it was weird. But yeah, so they're all released. Although it looked like there was only one of every species. And they're all acting like, they even have Jeff Goldblum saying, welcome to Jurassic World at that point. But if there's one of each species, they're not creating any more dinosaurs.
Supposedly they took 11 species back from the island.
Yeah.
Although it looked like there might have been more.
Their goal, I think, was 11, but they might have gotten a few more.
Well, I want to back up because you mentioned Jeff Goldblum. We haven't really talked about him yet. He is in the very beginning and the very end of the movie. And it sounds like he is testifying in front of Congress. They know about the dinosaurs on the island and the island's going to explode. And he thinks that we should just let the dinosaurs die. And so it sounds like he's testifying for that. But then it kind of goes, and the end of the movie, he's talking about, as Garrett mentioned, now we're living in Jurassic World. We've let this thing out of the box.
But it looked like it was the same scene. Like he's in the same room. I think he's wearing the same clothes. So it's kind of strange. Like, is that happening before? Is that happening after? Did it happen both times?
Yeah.
It's a little unclear.
Paving the way for the next movie?
Yeah, they definitely are doing that.
Yeah.
Because you've got all these now military and like sort of terrorist organizations that have bought these militarized dinosaurs in the underground auction market, and then you've also got all these other dinosaurs that went free, and they even show some of the pterosaurs making it over to the Eiffel Tower replica in Las Vegas. So
Yes, that's the part at the very end if you watch after the credits.
Yeah, so definitely watch after the credits.
Blue saves the day multiple times. She's definitely the hero.
So does the T-Rex. The T-Rex also saves the day a couple times.
The T-Rex, I felt like that was for the fans because every time the T-Rex entered, it was to knock something out of the way, save something, and then do its iconic, stand to the side and bellow.
Roar, yeah. That T-Rex is looking rough, too. It's got all these scratch marks in it.
It's old.
Yeah.
She's old.
Yeah, she is.
That was the other joke. The systems analyst in the beginning is like, the T-Rex is probably too old.
How long could they possibly live? And Claire's like, well, it's probably well fed, so who knows? Could live for a long time.
Well, not Claire, the paleo veterinarian.
Oh, paleobotanist or veterinarian, yeah.
Yeah. A few other good moments for the fans. Claire, for example, she's in high heels in the beginning, but then she quickly changes into boots before she gets to the island. And they show one of the shots is just her stepping onto the plane or off of the car to get onto the plane. I can't remember. And it's just a shot of her boot.
I didn't notice that at all, but I'm not as into shoes. So,
well, everybody made such a big deal about it. Like, why would she be running in heels like this? But yeah, she makes good use of her boots.
That's true.
So well done. The parts with the Carnotaurus were also really good. So it was hard for us to tell the difference between the puppets and the CGI blended so seamlessly.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, we knew that there was a T-Rex puppet for the scene in the cage where they're drawing blood. And then we think that Indoraptor was probably a puppet too. And we have seen a picture of one of the puppet makers with the Indoraptor head. And then what else was there?
Maybe some scenes with Blue.
Oh, yeah, because he puts his hand on her snout a lot. So that would make sense. But I'm not sure because they said there were a lot of puppets. So there were probably at least a few more.
So we really enjoyed the movie. We hope you enjoy it when you're able to see it. And they've opened up the way for the next movie. They've closed the door on hybrid dinosaurs. We've reported about that before, that there will be no hybrid dinosaurs in Jurassic World 3.
Yeah.
And so what happened is BD Wong, well, he seems like in every movie now, he's just trying to scramble to get his embryos or his blood samples out or whatever. And he didn't do it, but somebody is escaping with the sample for the next Indoraptor or the next hybrid or whatever, and it ends up getting crushed by the T-Rex. So I think that is
symbolism.
To show that there will not be hybrids.
But not in the next movie, but possibly later, because they don't even show what happened to BD Wong.
That's true.
And yeah, so he made it out of there. So
he always makes it out.
He does. So who knows in like Jurassic World 4 or whatever that'll be. So definitely go see it if you haven't already.
All right. Hope you enjoyed our recap and review.
And we'll be interviewing some people that worked on this movie, hopefully, at least one, coming up. So make sure to check out our podcast for that. Bye.
Bye.